There's my sound. Hey, I had the sound turned off. Welcome to Formers Friday. Now, the Geek sent me a message this week, said he was not going to be able to do a show, so he asked if I'd be able to jump in and do a stream for you guys today. And I said, yeah, that's actually perfect, because I actually have something that I bought a while ago that I've never actually opened and had a chance to play around with or take a look at. So we're going to take a look at that today. I'm hoping the live stream, everything's working again. Changed a bunch of stuff, changed the setup around a little bit, and so hopefully it's coming through crisp and clear, and the sound is okay, and everything's working out for you guys. But what we have over here is a toy I actually bought a while ago, and I've never gotten around to opening it, so I figure we'd take a look at that today, because I do have this Optimus Prime problem where I have to buy Optimus Prime when I see him. And so this Transformers Cyberverse, I believe this came out around the time of the Bumblebee movie. Now, I have not seen the Bumblebee movie. I'm not a fan of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, but hey, it is what it is. It's a Prime, and it looked fairly decent and a lot like a G1, so I figured, yeah, what the heck. So today we are going to take a look at this thing. So you can see the box here. We've got Prime. We've got our trailer back here. It shows that it can do some sort of funky conversion into stuff, which is cool. Energon axe attack, and I can see in his hand the axe is there. I don't know if he has a real hand in there or not, but I guess we'll see in a minute. And then we've got the cannon charge, which is a thing that does a thing, apparently, I guess. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's see. On the side, we got a picture of Prime. The side, we got some of the other Transformers, so it is what it is. And then on the back, it shows here, again, Prime with the trailer. And then we've got, the trailer opens. We've got the Bumblebee driving in. Of course, I do not have a Bumblebee, but it doesn't matter. Energon axe attack, cannon charge. So, yeah, this might be all right. Pretty decent. All right, so let's cut this tape here and not our fingers. Oh, and this is Warrior class, by the way. I don't know if you can. There you go. Warrior class. Or Class Guerrero. Shout out to Chavo. There he is. Class Guerrero in there. All right. And some sort of paper in there. And this paper is the instructions. So it shows how to do the transformations. Okay, so I will say this. Growing up, these were always black and white, or red and white, or purple and white, or whatever. They're still sticking with the two-color. I mean, I guess they've got, this time they have yellow and blue to go along with the black and white. So it's not full color. It's not a lot of color, but this definitely looks nicer than the old black and white. And I'll tell you something else too. On a lot of these, looking at the instructions, where you have just the little arrow telling you to move something, it's not always clear what's supposed to move. So now you can see the area they want you to move is actually highlighted in this deep yellow here, this mustard color. So that actually makes it a lot easier to try to follow these instructions. So that's nice. So good on them for that. All right, so we've got this little plastic inset, and usually they just have these things like rubber banded or tied down like crazy to the back, but this one is actually on a bubble. So that's different, and actually that probably makes it a lot easier to open if I can find a spot to open from. Well, let's see. Let's start with Prime here. Do we have? Okay, he does have some sort of plastic tie on there still. So let's say right in here. Rip this off. Maybe cut it. Come on, cut. Piece of. There we go. And all right, Prime comes out. So that's definitely a lot easier than the way things have been in the past. So we've got what looks to be pretty much like a G1 Prime. That's cool. Now I can see right here, there's the regular hand, and then the hand with the Energon axe. I don't know Well, first of all, does this... Okay, so this arm will straighten. So you can straighten that arm out. This arm does not straighten. So this arm is always going to be like that. And if we snap the Energon axe back, there's no regular hand. So he is always going to have the axe. So if you remember in the good Transformers movie, the animated one, he did have the fight with Megatron. He had the axe. Megatron had the spiked mace. And so this one's always going to be stuck with that. You're not going to be able to... You can fold it back, you know, so he just has no hand. But yeah, so there you go. So that's that. Otherwise, though, taking a look at him, looks fairly decent. Looks G1-esque. You do have this extra piece right here on the back of his head. But, you know, otherwise, fairly decent. And that's cool. It does not look like the one in the current movie, so that's pretty awesome. All right, so let's see if we can transform him real quick. What do we want to do here? We want to fold that back, and then what are we doing here? Okay, again, these instructions easier to follow, but not the easiest. This comes up on top. Is that right? And then fold down the head. Whoop. Oh, I just went to twist it and the leg popped off. But it's not that big of a deal because it just pops back on. So this is made for the younger kids that want to be playing with this stuff. They get a little more rough and rowdy. They don't care as much because they didn't pay for it. So when they break it, it is much easier to fix. And you can see when you look at these legs, it's all hollow on the inside. Not a lot of moving pieces. You know, the knees are going to move here, hips are going to move, shoulders, but yeah, you can see it's just a big hollow chunk of plastic. But all right, so let's see. We've got this. So this whole thing has to switch around like that. So now you have the actual truck grill, and you push the legs together, which is a fairly common Optimus Prime move. And then we're going to fold these arms back into place. All right, so now it's going to get a little weird trying to slide this into place because this thing keeps popping out like crazy. And this has to just slide in there. And of course, if the axe pops out, it gets in the way and you can't really slide it back there. So you got to be kind of careful. And this is where all of these different, you know, moving parts, so to speak, have to all kind of slide together. And I'm putting a little bit of extra force into it, trying to get it to move in there, because things don't line up correctly, and you just kind of push until it works. And then, let's see, so we want to fold. Oh, I see. This is supposed to pop. Oh, that would have been helpful. Okay. So this is actually what you pop up to move everything into place and then snap it back down. All right. And then this folds up. Ah, okay. So the axe actually goes into part of the leg there to kind of hide it, get it out of the way. And then I guess that's why you have this extra little piece of red hiding there to help kind of cover it up a little bit. Doesn't do a whole lot, but, you know, it's there. So overall, now this would normally be a gray or blue window, and here it's just kind of part of the shoulder. So, you know, if that's something, it's there at least. But, you know, whatever. The wheels are just, you know, plastic. They're not rubbery at all. This is fairly cheap. And this was not an expensive toy. I don't remember offhand how much it was, but it was not a lot of money. So I didn't expect a whole lot out of it. But it is, you know, solid, fairly durable little thing. And it doesn't look that terrible, to be honest. All right. So there's that. Let's get this trailer out. Of course, it's in the bubble. So we got to rip this off of here somehow. And there's tape. I can see that there's tape on it in a bunch of places to help hold it down. So, yeah, we're just going to cut it instead of trying to pull it. All right. There we have a trailer. And this does, of course, harken back to the original G1 trailer. I have no idea how Optimus Prime looks in the Bumblebee movie. I don't know if I'm guessing he has the trailer. I'm guessing he uses the Energon axe at some point. I'm guessing he looks like this version of Optimus Prime. I have no idea. And this being Transformers Cyberverse. I don't know if that's a cartoon or what the deal is, but like I said, no idea. All right, so we have some sort of bar here that moves. So I guess that'll be something at some point. It's interesting that it's all, put together and ready to go from right there. So when we put the trailer on, oh, I see. Okay, so the trailer, you can see it has this funky, vent thing here in the front, and it just kind of hooks there. And that's because if you look at Optimus Prime, his feet, of course, they don't fold down or anything. They're just sticking out. And so this fits on the feet in order to get it connected. And then to drive around. So it doesn't turn a whole lot, but it still will roll. And interestingly enough, you can see these wheels are really close to the edge here. I mean, they are right up on the edge of the toy. So this, I'm guessing, is just to help keep it steady when you set it down flat, so it's not rolling all over the place, which is interesting. All right, I can see that. Although the weird thing is, it comes all the way out to the edge here, but not the edge on this side. Now I can see a metal bar here. This side flips open apparently. I guess this side doesn't. And maybe that's to help you grab it from the side and flip it up, I guess. But I don't know why that would need to be a thing. But whatever. All right, so here's this trailer. So how are we going to open this? We start with pulling down this back part. So I guess that's so you can drive your cars up and put them in there. I got a Hot Wheels here. You can see, woo! Goes right up, and then you can close the back. Woo! And then it comes out, drives off. Okay, that's, that is what it is. Then to open this up the rest of the way, this side that flips down, we just pull on it. Okay, just like that. And this flips over, just like that. Okay. We've got a piece here on the inside that flips down to add some stability there. So that's something. This flips up. And then you flip up this gun. And there we go. Although it looks like this opens. Does this? It does open. And these are... I don't know how to make that pop open. How do we make that pop open? Cannon charge. Push, then reset. Oh. So in here, where the feet attached in to pull the trailer, apparently you push that. Aha! Check that out. All right, that's kind of cool. That's a thing. Close it. Get back in there. There we go. All right, now let's try that again. Hooah! That is a thing. All right, I like that thing. All right, so what do we got here? Now, of course, on the old Prime trailer, you had Scout in there that would come out, drive along. Of course, there's no Scout in this version. The old one also could flip open completely to be a battle center, but it also had a secondary use. Kind of came along later, where you would stand it upright, and then Optimus Prime in robot mode would go into it like it was recharging him or something. This does not have that. You can see that they've kept a lot of the design ideas. Like they have these little spots where you would normally have like some sort of weapons or something plug into it, even though they don't have anything to go there, but that at least gives it that look. So it looks a little more like the original. Interesting that they have this black stripe on there and along here, because technically they don't really need to. They could have just left that, gray, so I'll give them some extra props. You can see there is blue highlighting done on the guns here, so that's pretty nifty as well. We've got some sort of display screen, and this, also harkens back to the original G1 having display screens. This is some sort of, I guess, targeting system, computer system, and then we've got an extra gun. So I'm glad to see guns are back. For a long time, kids' toys didn't have guns because guns were, scary and bad. Now guns are back. I like guns. Yeah. Can Optimus Prime fit in his own trailer? No. You can kind of go backwards a little bit, like that. Not a whole lot he can do there. All right, so if we transform him back out, this is not the, oh, and again I pulled a piece off, pulled the arm off, trying to get it out. This is not the smoothest transformation. It takes a little bit of muscle to get it going, but I'm guessing that's because in the long run, you know, kids messing with these things, transform it over and over and over again, that's going to get worn out over time and eventually give way. So at least for a while, that's going to hold together. But okay, so Optimus Prime in his robot mode, and the trailer here, I guess he can stand in it, and he just stands there, just kind of hangs out in his trailer, does stuff. He's too big for the computer. Whatever. So it's weird because this doesn't seem, even though it's in scale with him as the truck in the robot mode, it doesn't quite work the same way. Although I wonder if maybe they have some smaller, not necessarily like mini cons, but smaller, you know, little transformers that would fit in there. Although, you know, Bumblebee's big. Bumblebee used to be a small one. I don't know. I don't know what's up with this line, how exactly this works. But nonetheless, this is pretty cool. And this is actually, I could see this as being a good crossover toy to use with other types of figures. So if you have other small figures and you're looking for something, like if we take, here's Clue from Tron. No, actually, this is Rimsler. My mistake. This is Rimsler from Tron Legacy, and he's about the right size to go in there. Use the computer to climb up on top. Use the gun, you know, whatever. Move it around. So if you're, you know, you could use some other stuff with it. If you're a kid, you're mixing your toys together, you're playing with everything. You don't really care if they're supposed to go together or not. You play with the toys you have. That's pretty cool. As far as it goes with Transformers, though, it's a little awkward. But at least they do have, you know, stripe going on both sides. It matches on both sides. And when it folds up, it does look fairly decent. And I'm kind of, I like the way it all, you know, folds back together into shape. You can see that there's like tabs here that stop it from, you know, going all the way. So it's really kind of brainless to transform it, to put it together, take it apart. Everything has its place. It all fits. It all works. Although I'm wondering if you grab this Prime. Now we got to transform him back real quick. Let's see if I can do it without popping any pieces off this time. Yeah, kind of get this deck. Doesn't want to go. You go there. That's your spot. Get in there. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. This might be a little difficult for some kids, but or maybe I'm an idiot and I'm just doing it wrong, which is entirely possible. And yeah, and I didn't notice before on the leg, but where the axe goes right there, it is cut a little bit more than the other side, which you can see in order to accommodate that. But it didn't really stand out when I was first looking at it, so give them credit for sneaking that in there. But now, when I transform this together, I put that on there. Now, is there any way I can activate the gun? Aha! Indeed there is. So, when he's in the mode here, where he's connected to the trailer, the button, of course, is right back under here at his feet. That's where his feet go. So if you push the trailer into his feet, it activates the guns. That is cool. That's the Cannon Charge special feature. That is nifty. All right. I like when guns pop out of things. That's my kind of toy. So yeah. So overall, you can see it has that good G1 look, that classic Transformer look as an Optimus Prime. Even though you still got a little bit of this weird stuff sticking out here from his axe. Overall, yeah, I like this thing. This is pretty cool. And again, like I said, it wasn't super expensive, so I don't feel bad if things aren't quite as perfect. It's not like this is a masterpiece thing that I just paid like $100 for, or $69.99 or whatever. This thing was like, I don't know, $12.99 or $19.99, something like that. So fairly cheap as far as these toys go. So anyway, That's going to do it for me today. Again, Geek should be back next week. He just had a bunch of random stuff going on this week, so he wasn't able to do a Formers Friday. Asked if I could pop in. I said sure, because everybody loves my face, my handsome, beautiful. We just lost 12 viewers right there. That was awkward. Anyway, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.